The pound has got extremely volatile over the last couple of weeks as the ultimate Brexit deadline looms. Negotiations have been tense, they've been fierce, and they've become far more public over the last couple of weeks than the month that preceded them. It seemed as if both sides were really making progress towards a deal, but the same three issues that have stopped the deal over the course of a number of months now continue to linger. That's level playing field, fishing rights, and governance. And while progress has been made on all of these, it seems that political sign-off is what is now needed in order for talks to develop that little bit further. It seems the negotiators have reached the limits of what they can achieve given their current mandates. What that means is that Boris Johnson is now heading to Brussels today for a dinner with Ursula von der Leyen, the European Commission president, in the hope that some political compromise can allow negotiators to finalise the remaining parts of a deal and avoid a no-deal Brexit in just over 3 weeks' time. That's how tight the deadline has now become, and there is no political will on the UK side to extend that deadline in order to avoid no deal. They're fully of the belief that the time pressure is what's going to get this over the line. Now, there obviously is skepticism around this with regards to the quality of the deal that's now being produced as a result of this deadline, but clearly an agreement is going to be needed over the course of the next week or so in order to get this through, in order for the European Parliament to pass this, and in order for the UK Parliament as well to pass this agreement. There was hope that it would be resolved this week, which would allow EU leaders at the summit on Thursday and Friday to give their approval to the deal, but that's looking increasingly less likely given the issues that clearly remain. Even if we do see some political manoeuvres this evening at that dinner between Johnson and von der Leyen, there's still going to need time for the negotiators to finalize this deal. But we have seen so much more volatility in the pound. What's interesting is the hedging that we've you can see in the markets with regards to the pound. Even though the currency itself was seemingly quite stable, we were seeing increasing amounts of hedging, which suggested that we were going to see that volatility pick up. And that's exactly what we've seen now over the course of the last week. There was one day in particular when the talk of no deal, when the talk that the negotiations had gone as far as they possibly could, we did see the pound overnight falling quite considerably. Now, it has rebounded. It remains in that tight range towards the upper areas of where it's traded for the last few years, between 133 and 135. We did push that 135 at one point, but again, we just pulled back from those peaks. And it seems that now it is just in wait and see mode to see if we can get a deal over the line. Now, like I say, volatility, though, has significantly picked up. It really is worth noting here that while you can see, for example, in some of the options market, the hedging is taking place, this deal is not priced in to the spot market. If we do see no deal, then the downside, I imagine, will be quite considerable. And that's why we're seeing the nerves starting to creep in. There will probably be, I imagine, some form of relief rally once a deal gets over the line. I'm still firmly of the belief, as is the view clearly in the market, that a deal will be agreed this late in the day, that a no deal makes absolutely no sense given the amount of effort that's gone into producing a deal and given the issues that remain. So I'm still firmly of belief that a deal will be achieved, and that the talks this evening will probably unlock the issues that are remaining and allow for the details to be agreed in time for both parliaments to sign this off. But that doesn't mean that we won't see volatility, especially if the rhetoric from this evening's conversations is not positive. So I think the volatility one is the one we've really got to keep an eye out for. So because while the pound may continue to push on higher into the agreement actually being reached, there is downside risks and quite hefty ones, as we were reminded about over the course of the last couple of weeks. Now, I guess the question is, if we do see a deal, just how far can this go? And that's going to be the difficulty, because I do think this deal was quite heavily priced in. So one thing I think we need to be careful of is the prospect that what we could see is a spike higher on any deal and a profit taking quickly kicking in because of how heavily this is priced in. But I think the next couple of days are going to be absolutely critical as far as these talks are concerned.